Good afternoon, everyone. Chris Thorne with HireMilitary. Proud to be here with you again to talk about opportunities for your transition success for your veteran careers that are ahead of you, and especially when we have incredibly strong DoD skill bridge partners like the ones that we have today. So I'm really happy to welcome to the broadcast today Jeff and Pam Barnett, owners, co-founders, directors of human resources for Barnett Engineering and Signaling Laboratory, which is a long thing to say, so I'm going to shorten it down and call it BESL for the time that we're here today. I hope you guys don't mind, but really glad to have you here with us. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having us, Chris. We really appreciate the invite.
It's really good to see you.
Yeah, very
such
excited.
Great. I love it. You know, Pam, I remember when you and I had that first phone conversation about really getting this process going, and exciting to see what's happening at BESL. But maybe that's a great lead in. And Jeff, maybe for you, Jeff, you know, a little bit of a background on you and sort of the founding of BESL, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. So I was in the Air Force for 20 and a half years. Retired as a senior master sergeant, and I was in the intelligence career field, mostly supporting space for pretty much the entire time. And so traveled around the world, some with Pam, and we were stationed at several locations. And when I retired, I just thought, you know, I looked around and saw all these other contractors, and I thought, I can do this. So we started the business and went from there. And I think the first year we were in business, we grew from one person to two people. Pam hadn't joined us yet. So we had 100% growth that first year, which was fantastic. And so we've slowly continued to grow over the last 13 years or so. And we're now sitting right at about 50 people. And we support the new Space Force, as well as the intelligence community. We have a high percentage of veterans that are part of our company.
That is spectacular, you know, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for your service and your background. And, you know, Pam, I want to say thank you for yours as well, because, you know, that there's something, the military family, and we're real believers. The entire military family serves. Yeah. And that's, I think, something that if you've never been part of it, you may not understand it, but the entire military family serves. And so often it's just that military member who sort of gets the gratitude. So Pam, thank you for your contributions and everything that you've done as well. It's
thank you. Thank you.
No, you know, and so we'd love to hear a little bit more about your background, because I mean, you've been such an important part, really, of this entire team and dynamic going forward. We'd love to hear a little bit more about your background, Pam.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Chris, and thank you for recognizing, you know, the family members, because I was a military spouse chasing Jeff wherever he was deployed to, and our family, and I know that how difficult that is, because you have to have a mindset where you're always looking for what's over the next horizon. And that's what I feel that these transitioning military folks are doing. You know, they're having to continue to look what's on the next horizon in their careers after the military. So we really pride ourselves in helping folks make this transition, because it's a big thing. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for the military member. It's a big deal for their family. And a little bit about us, or me. I have a history and schooling degree in human resources and organizational management. And so I'm people-oriented, and we're a very people-oriented and family-focused type of business. We're a small organization, but we're rather, I would consider us a niche organization because of the technical skills that we bring. And we are just really, really excited to talk with folks and help them in any way. to make the transition, even if it's not with us down the road. We've been there, done that. And as a matter of fact, I'll just tell you something really quickly. When Jeff retired, and I realized that I didn't, we were separating from the military, and I was in the parking lot going into the commissary, and they started playing taps. It was at the end of the day. A flood of emotions came over me, and I started crying in the parking lot, realizing that when I go buy my groceries now, they're going to ask me, what does your husband do? And I'm not going to be able to say he's active duty. And that just really, really hit me. So, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
my phone is ringing here. So
that's okay. We're living real life, right? But
man, this is the real deal.
And I so appreciate, what you share about that. Actually, the transition story, I think, is unique for every transitioning service member, 235,000 service members and their families each year. It's unique, but there are some very shared common themes to it in really that moving from that environment that we know, that we understand, that we're faithful to in that military environment into that unknown. And so that's one of the things I really love about BESL is, here we've got a company founded and run and staffed by veterans and military families who understand the dynamics of what that's all about. And so what a better place to be.
We're very, very proud of that.
That is so spectacular.
Very, very proud of that.
So I know there's already a lot of questions that are coming through on the chat. So this is probably a great time to talk. So BESL, what kind of things does BESL do, and what does that look like in terms of jobs and career opportunities, as far as types of careers, locations? What types of things are out there for BESL?
Sure. So right now we have.
I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
Go for it.
I was just going to say, from an HR perspective, I can give you the 30,000-foot view, but Jeff can take it from there. Primarily, we support the intelligence community in areas of space, ISR, and cybersecurity. So that's my pat answer, but we'll turn to the technical expert and let Jeff take it from there.
Sure. And so I'll just add to that we also support the new United States Space Force. And we have 4 portfolios that we kind of operate within, and everything that we do fall within those 4 portfolios. And they're system engineering. So that's a really broad category. Cyber services, which is, obviously another broad category, but a lot of the things that we do there are related to the risk management framework and making sure that systems are secure and are able to be securely operated, as well as what we call operations support. And so we have lots of things under there. We do things like support the intelligence community and their operators or intelligence analysts. And a lot of that work that we do is out at the National Air and Space Intelligence Center in Dayton, Ohio. And here in Colorado Springs, we support the space control community and their operators that are deploying all over the world doing space operations. And so you can do some searching on YouTube for space control operations and things like that, and you'll probably come up with some pretty cool videos that we don't have time today to really go through in detail. But the other kind of neat thing that we do is we've really lately have started kind of what we hope to become a robust R&D effort, research and development, and we operate within that this thing that we call a collaboratory, which is where it's a laboratory for good ideas. And so we invite all of the people that work with us to come into that space and collaborate with us on good ideas. And so we've actually had some really interesting capabilities that we've been able to go and offer to our customers and turn into, no kidding, jobs for people to fill.
Nice.
One of those, if I could just briefly talk about it, is a thing that we call RHEL-GUB, or Red Hat Enterprise Linux ground up build. And so what we've done is we've taken Red Hat Linux, which the DoD is using more and more and more, and we've taken a lot of the really difficult cybersecurity problems that people tend to have, and we've solved those problems, and we've built it into a project using Red Hat Linux that you're able to get and use and have all those problems solved for you, so the customer doesn't have to pay to solve the same cybersecurity problems over and over and over and over, which was one of the things that we were noticing, that the customers we support kept coming back to us, asking us to solve the same problem over and over and over. And I'm happy to make money doing the same thing, but it's not efficient for the customer, and it's not effective for the American taxpayer. And so that's one of the things that we really always have, in the back of our mind, is that we have a responsibility to the people that write our paychecks, which ultimately is the American people. So thank you, Chris, for your contribution.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that good spending. So, and I got to tell you, I am not a tech person by nature, but I've interacted with a little bit of it here. So I'm actually glad to say I'm not completely lost in the language you just shared there with the Red Hat Linux and some of the others there, Jeff. But, when you say that, and so one of the questions for those who are watching is going to be, do I have an opportunity with this company based on my skill level? So, and Pam, maybe this is a good one for you in the HR role. It almost sounds like the opportunities are really sort of high-end level background, cybersecurity and information technology background. Are you looking to connect with people on that really high end, or is there opportunity for others? Obviously, cybersecurity is a great field that lots of people want to migrate into as they transition out of the military, maybe with not an extensive cyber background, but they're getting education, certification, they want to move. So is there room in the spectrum at BESL for both ends, or what are you really looking for in your talent pool that you want to bring on board?
I tell you what, and lately our focus has been, of course, cleared individuals, and that may range from a secret level on up beyond a TS SCI with, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It seems to me that, especially in the cyber realm, but for any program where you're working on equipment, provided by the DoD or whatever, scenario, you're going to have many times certifications. And I'm talking about Security Plus. Sometimes, the Security Plus is like at the entry level for, being able to work on a DoD system. So we're looking for individuals that can think and do. Yes, we are a technically oriented company, but there's still some wiggle room. Can we take somebody from the ground up and teach them everything that they know? We like to try to get them in that comfort zone so they can continue to learn. Sometimes we have folks that feel that they've served, they've been in the service for maybe 3 or 4 years, and they like to write SME on their resume. They're subject matter experts. And then after they come and they get out in the real world, they realize that there's an entire body of knowledge that it takes and years of experience. So don't be intimidated by that. I want to convey to everybody, this is a body of knowledge that you must continue to cultivate and grow. And we're the kind of company that tries to help facilitate that as much as we can.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that. And that's so important to be able to help those who are looking to get that toehold in. You got to do the work to get there. But, Jeff, I'm gonna use this opportunity, if you don't mind, Jeff, there are so many service members who are looking to get into information technology, cybersecurity, but I'm not going to lie, whether you're on LinkedIn or anywhere else, there's all kinds of randomness about, well, what certification should I pursue? What's the linear progression on that? What's more important? Is my Sec Plus more important than a CEH, more important than an ITIL? I'm going to ask you, and I apologize, this isn't necessarily BESL related, but really using your expertise here for that young service member who maybe just completed an undergraduate in cybersecurity or in computers, and they're looking to get in. What is that first string of really useful certifications that you would recommend that are going to make a difference?
So let me just say this. That answer depends on the company that you're attempting to get hired into. Because for some people, it might be CEH, okay? For some people, it might be Network Plus. For some people, if they're more network oriented, and we use a lot of those network people. In fact, right now we have a huge need for a network planning engineer, and we're just not getting a lot of resumes from anywhere for that.
Wow.
But for a lot of the things, if you're talking about just a generic cybersecurity, somebody that does risk management framework type of stuff, it's going to start probably with the Security Plus, followed up by either a CASP, CASP, or a CISSP. And so we have opportunities at various levels. But to go back to your question, to Pam, to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, that is one of the things that we really love about your organization, Chris, and the Skill Bridge program in general, because many, many people are looking to transition and do kind of the same thing that they're doing in the military. That's pretty much what I did 13 years ago, right? But what happens is the acquisition cycle for weapon systems currently is so long, and the DoD is doing a lot to try to minimize that and shorten it. But right now it's pretty long, and so what their subject matter experts on, as Pam put it, SMEs, is technology that is, maybe 20 years old or 10 years old, or maybe even only 3 years old. The things that we're working on right now are the things that are going to be that they're going to be operating in a year or 2 or 3 or 5, and the requirements are completely different. And so what we like about the Skill Bridge program is that there's very few people out there that meet the requirements for what we need today overall, right? And so we have the ability with the Skill Bridge program to bring somebody in and teach them the things that they don't know from the military, because they're working on older technology and we're developing newer technology. And so we're able to teach them the things that they need to know. So I'll give you a good example. The big buzzword right now in software development is DevSecOps. But nobody in the military is really doing that right now. So all of the system administrators are doing system administration on the systems as they are. But in the DevSecOps environment, that completely changes the types of things they need to know to do system administration. And so with our latest person that we've got through you guys, Chris, I've got him going through a program that's going to teach him how to do system administration in a DevSecOps environment.
Nice.
Which is completely foreign to him right now. But in a few months, it won't be.
That is such a spectacular, and you make a great point. Bring those people who have fundamentals built in, but you're right. I love the point that you just made there. Even the people working on the high end of technology inside the DoD, the procurement processes mean that it's stuff that most likely 4, 5, 10, 15 years old. And Lord knows I'm a Navy guy. So if you go back on board ships, that stuff was 20 or 25 years ago it was developed.
Yeah.
And so the opportunity to bring them into a company like yours, where you're on the front edge of not just using, but developing the technology that's going to be out there. and really giving those service members an opportunity to come in and be part of that through SkillBridge is just one of the coolest things, and I love that. So this is probably a great segue moment to let's start talking about those service members who are on the string right now who are saying, raising their hands up, SkillBridge, it's me. So maybe the first one is, so much of service member transition is reliant on location, where they're going to be. And so maybe let's start with, Pam, if we have SkillBridge candidates for you, what are the viable locations? Is it Colorado Springs? Is it Dayton? Are there remote opportunities? Is it what kinds of locations match needs for service members to be part of the BESL team for SkillBridge?
Oh, wow. Well, we go where the contracts take us. This is another concept that people are going to have to try to wrap their head around. It's a contract. When you're working in the DoD, it's going to be a contract world, and contracts open, contracts close. There are task orders that come down that continue the contract along. And so as far as we go, we go where the contracts take us. It can be overseas. Right now, one of our positions requires a lot of travel. It's worldwide travel, and to some pretty cool places, tropical destinations, let's say, as well as some really hot, dry areas. Okay, I won't go into detail. So there's, again, keeping that mindset, of what's over the next horizon and not being filled with fear. But we also have, for us, opportunities in Dayton and Maryland. We're looking for skill sets, for folks coming out of, the Eglin area, Hurlburt. There's a lot of talent coming out of many places. San Antonio comes to mind. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I just want to say, if I could just jump in there and say, if a person has experience in SATCOM maintenance or SATCOM operations or ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, or being an intel analyst, whether it's SIGINT or HUMINT or MASINT or any of the INTs, PAI, or they have experience in electronic warfare or any of the IT or cyber career fields, no matter where they're at in the world, we would love to hear from them. Because right now the work is predominantly here in Colorado Springs and in Dayton, Ohio. But as we grow and as we go after new contracts, those locations will continue to grow as well.
Nice. So I'm going to go ahead and because I love what you just said. Wow, what a diverse spectrum of individuals, and of course you hit at my Navy heart again when you start talking about those electronic warfare operators out there, which we know we've got some great ones coming out of the Navy. But across all of the INTs, across all of those ISRs, across all of the cyber spectrum out there, I know there's going to be a ton of service members who are listening and saying, that's my SkillBridge opportunity right there. So I want to throw it out right now that Adam Martinez is in the chat stream right now. Adam Martinez of HireMilitary is the point of contact who works with Pam and Jeff. So if you're watching right now and this light bulb just went off, you need to be connecting to Adam Martinez. If you're watching this stream on Facebook or you're watching it on YouTube, you need to come on over to join us here on LinkedIn, look up Adam Martinez. And if you don't find him there, reach out to me and I'll get you connected. But what I hear, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I hear is that there should be a couple hundred service members getting in touch with Adam to come be part of the BESL team here pretty quickly.
Well,
maybe you can't take a couple hundred. I don't know. But.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously we probably can't take a couple hundred, but I think we have a pretty good program that we've set up to help people transition. And one of the things that I would say is Don't wait until you're a month out or 2 months out. This program begins up to 6 months from the time you can get out. So you need to start thinking about SkillBridge probably 12 months before you're ready to get out, so that at that 6-month time frame, you can go ahead and transition from the military into the SkillBridge program.
Yeah, so important. And you bring up a point that we always harp on, and I love that you're there, which is start early, build and develop those networks with people so that you have a true understanding of the environment that you're going into. So from that standpoint, if there's a service member who is 12, maybe 18, 24 months out, and they're thinking long range and trying to set themselves up, what would you recommend as far as them reaching out, connecting, networking, understanding BESL, the team at BESL? Would it be right for them to connect with you on LinkedIn, or what would you recommend on that?
Pam, you want to take that one?
I recommend accessing our website at www.besl.org. And we have a mechanism where you can apply under any opportunity. If you don't see something that you feel that we currently have posted, a job that doesn't quite fit your skill set, there is still a way for you to submit your resume under any opportunity. And I am directly notified on all of those candidates. And believe me, we're a company that we pour over our resumes as much as possible, and we're very, very hands-on. And make sure that your resume is well written. I'll tell you what, the story, I'm sure when people get ready to go through TAP, they're coached and they say, recruiters only look at your resume maybe 30 seconds. That may be true, but if you could put those skills, those certifications, and your education up top and what clearance level you've achieved, and make sure that please know the status of your clearance when you depart. Is it up for renewal? What was the date of your adjudication? That is a feather in your cap. If there's anyone out there that has a security clearance, don't be dismissive about that.
Hey guys, in the true sense of live TV or whatever, live streaming, I've got somebody that's at the door that I need to go take care of because he's delivering food to the wrong place.
Well, go take care of that food. I'm going to talk with Pam for a minute here. I love it.
Okay.
Now, is it supposed to be coming to me, Jeff? Because I'm a little hungry right now, so I was wondering about that. But Pam, Pam, you actually mentioned something. So I know, right? So many service members with security clearance, especially when you're high cleared TS and above. So many service members obviously understand the value of that. And one of the questions they'll ask about a company is this a clearance holding company? Can you put them in JPass to maintain currency on their clearance? So is BESL a clearance holding company for JPass and maintaining currency on clearances?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, okay. I just want to make sure everyone got that.
Yeah, that is one of the first things that we do after we extend an offer is to verify the clearance. And I've actually had the saddest thing that for me is dealing with somebody that has great credentials and experience and everything, but when they made a decision when they got out of the Army, the Air Force, whatever service, that they decided that they didn't want to, maintain their clearance. And then they realize, oh, I should have maintained that. And, clearances lapse. And once they go, I'm not the security individual. We have a chief of security that takes care of all of this. But my understanding is once they go into the abyss, it is very, very difficult, if not practically impossible, to get that back. So you want to, I just hope to convey to everybody what a feather in your cap it is to have a clearance.
So if I could just add to that, if I could just add to that real quick, Chris, First of all, you have kind of a 2-year grace period where it's relatively easy to get your clearance back. But one of the problems that we see is that people will have, and that's if your clearance is active still, okay? One of the problems that we see is that people will get out of the military while they still have an update ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
And if that update hasn't been completed, there's a high probability that they get out and their investigation gets dropped.
Yeah.
And when that happens, we're starting all over from scratch. So please, 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 if you know that you are up for reinvestigation, if there's any way possible, don't get out until you're notified that that investigation has been completed.
Yeah, no, such a great point, Jeff. And you know, in the chat right now, Cassie Mousehall had just asked how long a TS is normally good for. And so, you know, just to point out, there are variations. It obviously depends on when the last investigation. TS for 5 years. If you're SCI or SCI with poly, now that draws down to 2 years with the poly and from the investigation date. And so make sure if you're a clearance holder, there are definitely different levels along the way that can go up to Yankee White and everything. Make sure you talk with your security manager to find out what your standing is and what that looks like for your time after you get out. That's such an important point and can make such a difference in the income level options.
And there are ways in the military, if you know that, you know, you need another few months or whatever, there are ways that you can extend for a handful of months or even a year or two or whatever, you know. So we if you come to us with your clearance intact, it's way easier to get you indoctrinated back in and be able to continue using that clearance.
Yeah, absolutely. No, great point. I'm glad you brought that up. So maybe one final thing that I would like to throw out before we finish up here today, DoD SkillBridge. One, I hope we just saturate BESL with DoD SkillBridge coming out of this LinkedIn Live. As a matter of fact, I hope Adam Martinez gets no sleep for the next week here. But
I do too.
But we do realize not every service member is going to get that opportunity for DoD SkillBridge, and there's some great talent that obviously can connect with you. So Pam, I know you mentioned the website for the careers. If there are folks who've transitioned within the last 6, 8, 12 months, still have that active clearance, they like what they see and hear about BESL, is that careers website the best place for them to connect and look for opportunities?
It really is. It really is. We want folks to contact us this way so we can have the resume in our database, so it's searchable. There may not be something. That's another thing that you've got to realize. There may not be a position with us or any other employer that is an exact fit. But I tell you, when I'm looking for somebody with a TSSCI that has a CISSP certification and a development experience, can program. I've got a database where I can go in there and plug all those parameters in and bring up that information. So we prefer to centralize that. So yes, www.besl.org. I do want to say one thing about BESL. We're a small organization, and I don't want folks to be afraid about being joining a small business. Many times, small business has wonderful opportunities, and for us, we have a fantastic benefits program. I know SkillBridge is about internships, but our desire is to help bridge those skills and bring you on and retain you and put you in a position where you have gainful employment. Because let's face it, it's an investment on our part, and it's an investment of your time and your skills. So you want to look at a company for the overall package to to make sure that it's a good fit, that it's a good cultural fit, that it's a good professional fit, you know, that aligns with you. But it's just not about, you know, making the paycheck.
Yeah.
There are lots of other things. For instance, a retirement savings program, a strong 401k. I have yet to meet any company, large or small, that beats our 401k. That's how good it is. And you're fully vested and with matching from day one at our
Wow.
company. And many of our benefits are employer provided. So
Wow.
keep all of those things in mind. Couple that with a generous uh, paid leave, you know, for
Hmm.
vacation time, sick time. Gosh, we even have snow days, you know. We have administrative days.
I
So
love it.
you got to look at the whole picture. Yeah, you got to look at the whole picture of what a company offers.
That is such a great point, and I'm so glad you brought it up because lots of service members, when they leave, you know, the bright lights, the shiny lights, like going down the strip in Las Vegas. You see the shiny stuff, and so there are great companies like Amazon and Booz
Yeah.
Allen, and these are great companies and opportunities. But oftentimes, service members steer away from the smaller companies and organizations, thinking that the opportunities aren't there. When in
Yeah.
reality, some of your best opportunities are with those smaller companies where you can make a real
Oh, yeah.
impact, where you can change, where your trajectory path
Right.
can really just go off the charts that way. And so I'm really glad. And all those benefits that you mentioned, I think I'm going to have to talk with Mike Quinn about benefits packages because BESL sounding pretty good right now. I'm saying. So, I did want to share there's a couple people had actually asked in the chat, so I want to make sure to address this. Quentin Taylor Garcia, Cassie, and Jason Dudley all had asked. They're separated from service already. They have TSSCI, but it's about to expire.
Okay.
So to them, I would share, and Jeff, I'll let you share, but I would share, engage with an organization to go ahead and get into that cleared position. And I think BESL might be a great company because as long as you can connect with a cleared organization before that expiration, then they can keep you valid. Would that be correct, Jeff?
Yes. Yeah, typically, yes.
Yeah.
So let me just throw out there then, right now we have a tremendous need for a satellite maintenance guy. We are looking for at least one system administrator, preferably with some Red Hat experience. But we could probably work around that if we needed to. Those are really the two big things. A network planning engineer. So if you have experience, just because it says engineer on it, the community likes to throw engineer on the back of everything. So if you have experience doing network stuff and you have a CCNA or a CCNP or one of those types of certifications, we would love to hear from you today.
Awesome. And so if you're separated, you're already out, or you're at your EAS, make sure for those direct hires, you're connecting with Jeff and Pam and their careers website for BESL. If you're looking at DoD SkillBridge and you're out there right now saying BESL is the place for me, you can connect with them. And Adam Martinez, who runs the program for HireMilitary in connection with BESL, make sure you reach out to him. Flood their email, because I'm here to tell you, folks, if you have not caught on yet, there's some amazing opportunity to be had here. And you know, I really appreciate all of this. I appreciate all the conversation that's been happening in the chat, and I really appreciate you two coming to spend time. Before we head off, any last thoughts you'd like to share? Pam, I'll go ahead and hand it to you first. Anything else you'd like to share before we have to go away?
Okay. I guess be confident, okay? Be confident but not cocky. Don't think that you know it all. For us, we're looking for people that can think and can do when the tough gets going and the rubber meets the road. So just don't be afraid. I see a lot of folks that are very nervous and that's okay. And during the interview process, we hold, chats, very informal like this. And we also additionally conduct technical interviews. Always be honest about, if you don't know the answer to a question, or, just be honest and say, I don't know. But I'll tell you what goes a long way with me is if somebody says, but, I can find it out. And so, be confident that, and be resourceful. Okay.
Awesome.
And
Great
I want
piece
to
of
thank
advice.
everybody for your service. Thank you all for your continued service to these great United States. These are troubling times, but hang in there. This is the best country in the world. And that's why so many people want to come here. So, and we owe it to our military. And so we just appreciate you and love you all. Thank you.
Absolutely. You touched me. How many times can you touch my heart in one session there, Pam? You got me on that one. So, Jeff, I'll throw it over to you then for any final thoughts you might have as well.
So I have two things in the spirit of kind of what Pam was saying. We like to really be honest with people. And we frequently see people that are transitioning and have no idea what their value is, but they've heard these nasty rumors that I can go and be a contractor and go from having 3 years in the Army or the Navy or whatever, making whatever you make as an E3 or 4 or 5, and transition and be making $140,000 or $180,000 a year. Okay, yeah. Doesn't happen. All right, so don't have kind of false expectations. Maybe there's that one person, or maybe if you want to go, live in Baghdad, you might be able to pull in that kind of money for a year or two, and maybe you'll make it home or not,
Yeah.
And so the second thing is we really see ourselves as an extension of the military. We have all the services that we have now, and we have the contractor corps. And we as contractors really believe that we are just an extension of the military, providing a different service, just like the Army does their thing and the Navy does their thing and the Air Force and the Marines and the Space Force. The contractor corps has their thing. And that's what we provide. And so we believe that we're just as much a part of the defense of this nation as playing key roles as any other service branch. So if you want to continue to be in that kind of an environment, if you want to continue to have that kind of camaraderie, if you want to continue to be mission focused and know that what you're doing makes a difference, then give us a call, or any contractor that does DoD work. But nice. Give us a call first.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Continuing to serve. Continue to serve. Absolutely. Well, Jeff, Pam, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the amazing environment of BESL and what you do for veteran hiring and veteran opportunity and DoD Skill Bridge. We're proud to be your partners through HireMilitary and really looking forward to seeing some great successes in the future. And so if you've been watching and listening today, or if you're watching this down the road, reach out and connect. Register your profile at HireMilitary. Follow us on LinkedIn. Don't lose your chance to have this amazing next career that comes to you. So BESL, Pam, Jeff, thank you again so much. For everyone out there, thank you for joining us again today. Look forward to seeing you again. We're here each week on Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern to talk with companies, organizations that are going to help set you up for your transition success. So come on back and join us again. And thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend and stay safe.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you all.